Hey, we're allowed to dream, right? Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 games that need to be on the SNES Classic Edition. Admit it, Mojoholics, as soon as the NES Classic Edition was announced, you said to yourself, that's great, but what about the SNES, please? So, for this list, we'll be counting down our top tier lineup for a potential SNES Classic Edition. Who knows, maybe Nintendo will see this video and decide to release this dream machine. Let's just hope they don't ask for 40% of the profits. Number 10, our top 10 SNES list. Okay, let's be honest. These games are the ones we know have to be included. Besides, the NES Classic Edition has 30 games, so why would we limit ourselves to just 10? Back in 2013, we tackled the daunting task of picking the best SNES games. Years later, this list still holds true, and we'd be shocked if these NES staples weren't included in the Classic Edition. So, here's to the misnumbered Final Fantasies, the Star Foxes, the Metroids, the Mario Worlds, and most certainly the Links to the Past. You may call this entry kinda cheating, but we call it resourceful. Number 9, Super Castlevania 4. When the SNES was released, it came out swinging, with this 16-bit upgrade to the iconic Castlevania series giving us the dark and spooky gaming fix that we needed. The NES Castlevanias felt like an appetizer, with this game being the main course. Simon Belmont has never controlled so smoothly before, and his quest to defeat Dracula had never felt so epic. Monsters, the levels, and good lord, that soundtrack. Our ideal SNES Classic Edition would need a touch of horror, and this would be the game to do it. Number 8, Super Bomberman. Before the time wasters of iPhone and Facebook games, there was Bomberman. The idea is simple, use bombs to blow stuff up, but then you start playing the game. 6 worlds, 8 stages, clever enemies, boss fights. It doesn't take long to realize that the name of the game is strategy, especially when you're playing the game's biggest selling point, battle mode. Facing off against AI is one thing, but doing battle against up to 4 friends? Oh yeah, did we mention that we're gonna need a multi-tap with our SNES Classic Edition? Number 7, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. When Mario gets a sequel, he typically gets some new power-ups, improved graphics, catchier music, and a, babality? Arguably one of the most unique Mario adventures, this sequel is actually a prequel, where Yoshi is tasked with protecting baby Mario and rescuing baby Luigi. It's not the adventure we were expecting, especially with the storybook art style and whimsical music, but with fun gameplay, challenging levels, and a good dose of creativity, plus one of the best Bowser battles in the entire franchise, the game became an instant classic. Hopefully they toned down that piercing baby Mario cry though. Ugh. And number 6, Contra 3, The Alien Wars. Those damn aliens are back and they've got a score to settle. But really, is it our fault that Bill and Lance were so awesome? Now their descendants have taken up the guns as they embark on the ultimate gaming adrenaline rush. Here, the run and gun gameplay is better than ever, with an absolutely kick-ass soundtrack and a variety of stages. But be careful, as there's no Konami code this time. It's not the longest game in the world, but with this much action and difficulty, your heart will probably be relieved over the short length. Number 5, Kirby Superstar. We couldn't celebrate the SNES without celebrating Nintendo's adorable pink glutton. Much like our number 10 pick, this may feel like a bit of a cop-out, but to us, it's the definitive Kirby title for the SNES. Besides, why settle for one Kirby game when you can have 8? These games range from platformers to various minigames like racing and an endurance arena where you face off against all of the game's bosses. Along with Kirby are all of the classics from the franchise, including Meta Knight and, of course, King Dedede. Number 4. Secret of Mana. There was a time when Square could do no wrong JRPG-wise, and that's not just because of Final Fantasy. This was one of those games that slid under the radar, but it packed one hell of a punch if you got it. The opening music alone is enough to pull you in, and that's before you even hit the start button. The world is rich with brightly covered environments, a heartbreaking story, and a real-time battle system that stood out amongst the turn-based gameplay style we've become so accustomed to. Oh, and while we're at it, Square Enix, how about you also include Secret of Mana 2? You know, the amazing sequel that after 20 years you still haven't given a Western release? Yeah, that one. Number 3, NBA Jam Tournament Edition. Time for some razzle dazzle because he's on fire! We don't often put sports games so high on our list, but you gotta have NBA Jam. There's no escaping its charm. The over-the-top moves, the hidden characters, and of course that over-dramatic announcer. Yeah! The updated Tournament Edition adds new features and Easter eggs while maintaining the smooth gameplay and quirkiness, giving us the ultimate version of one of the best basketball games of all time. He's on fire! Number 2, Earthbound. It's no secret that this game didn't get the love it deserved back in the 90s. In a time when RPGs were slowly making headway in the US, audiences were not quite ready for Ness. His bright red cap, his striped shirt, or maybe it was the trippy visuals and the unsettling world that these kids had to traverse through. Over time, the series has gotten the respect it deserves, and it's become a beloved gem in the SNES library. After all these years, we may be ready to face off against Gygus once again. Before we get to our number 1 pick, let's add these honorable mentions to our ideal classic edition. Number 1, Mega Man X. At the time, there had been several releases under Mega Man's belt, and it was clear that the franchise was in need of something extra. Mega Man X was like the older brother of the cool kid in school. You still liked the cool kid, but his older brother was a game changer. Taking place 100 years after the original series, Mega Man X did everything right. It improved on the classic gameplay while keeping its core elements intact. It also gave us better graphics, new power-ups, a rockin' soundtrack, Zero, and it invigorated the franchise in a big way. Do you agree with our list? What games do you think are required on any kind of SNES Classic Edition? For more iconic top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com. Kaboom!